Many people feel small because they're small and the universe is big, but I feel big because my atoms came from those stars.
So they have a little bit of a hint of what's going on.
Yeah.
Maybe this little segment or.
Well, we'll start with player introductions, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, let's start with the character introductions, player introductions, and Ben, why don't you tell us about your character?
Okay. I play Street Samurai Dr. Kitty. Used to work for the UCAS military. He got captured and tortured, and his mind got erased. He has amnesia. He's delusional and thinks cats are lucky. He lives in a small apartment with 20 cats, and he has developed a prostitute girlfriend who is very cat-like. And that's about it. He's a pretty memorable character, a lot of fun. I really enjoy playing him. And he is slowly developing some other skills and branching out from just being a street samurai.
Right, you've gone from Logic 1 to Logic, what, 3 or 4 by the
I got Logic 3 just so I can grow more than one skill at a time. But he's really developed a lot of his knowledge skills and stuff like that, and that's helped a lot. I've tried to improve him so he's good with pretty much any weapon he can get his hands on, and all that other stuff.
Be right back.
Let's get a physical description of him as well. What does he look like when he's in the scene?
He is about 6'1", 300 pounds. He's got green eyes, brown hair, shortcut hair top, pseudo military style. Let me see, I can pull him up. I got a picture of him. In the picture, he's actually shaved and got sunglasses. But he's pretty similar to that. He wears armored clothing that has a cheetah print on it. It's very sleek and cat-like. And he's got a little cat pendant around his necklace that he likes to rub whenever he's agitated or worried. And then that's about it for a physical description. He's about 33 years old.
All right. Excellent. Next down the table, we'll go with Shragon. Tell us about Puck.
Well, hi everyone. My name's Shragon, and I'm playing Puck. The runner name is Puck. He is a pixie. Yes, a pixie mystic adept, and he's into extreme sports and doing filmmaking and Simpsons live feeds, and he's here for the team editor. His role on the team is infiltrator. He's the guy that sneaks in and out and provides some magic support. As far as a physical description, I'm about 48 centimeters tall, being a pixie. I have dragonfly-like wings, and barely touch the ground.
What do you usually wear?
While you'll see on the job, you'll see me sporting some steampunk type gear setup. I have like the hat with the gears on it, and I have the vest with the old brass buttons. The rest of that, and when it comes to a fight, I do put on the ballistic mask with the little drop-down lenses on the top.
Sweet. All right, so that's Puck. Let's see. I see that Doug popped in with us. We're doing character introductions, and then we're going to recap a little bit of you guys' careers on this video. Because watching the video from the last one, I'm like, this is pretty good. Except if I wasn't running this game, I would have no idea what's going on. So, so Tony, let's hear a little bit about Bag of Donuts. Doug.
Okay. Well, my character's name is Tony Donuts. He's a quiet guy. Doesn't talk much. Kind and generous, and always has a nice thing to say about everybody.
Oh, if we were gonna lie, I would have done that.
Well, my character is a collections agent, as it were.
Is that what you call it?
And he likes to be smart rather than industrious. So, and as Karl Marx used to say, the quickest way to make change is through violence. So he likes to intimidate and strike fear into the hearts of his enemies, or people who might be his enemy one day, so that when the time comes, he doesn't have to work so hard to get what he wants.
How about a
never
physical?
see him without a suit on. He's always very well dressed, very expensive Italian suits.
Zeke is on deck with, Kyle is on deck with Zeke. Tell us about him.
Alrighty. Zeke's your average, young 20-something human. Got out of college, didn't really feel like taking over the family business, so he got into Shadowrunning, comes from a very tech-savvy family, so he's a go-to rigger, driver, that sort of thing. He's pretty lazy, slovenly, college student-esque, like good round off of hair, always wearing, I don't know, baggy clothes, whatever he can find around the house. Never wears anything fancy, even when he's forced to wear a suit or something. He always wears it as slovenly as possible. Yeah. I mean, he's 6'1", not that heavy, about 100 pounds, I guess.
And why don't you all also describe the van, your vehicle? Because honestly, that's part of the rigger's character is all your toys. Give us a quick rundown of what you usually see Zeke with.
Well, it's a pretty, he called it an average-looking bulldog step van, but that's not exactly what it is. He's got
average
all the
Shadowrunners.
He's got all the tricks and tools hidden inside with his nice rotary cannon on top that he hasn't quite got to use yet. Armored out. all the shebangs inside this lovely thing that he's been working on for a couple of years.
Nice. And have you replaced the drones that the Aztec army mugged you for?
No, he's been neglecting his drones lately.
Recap.
He's been all about the driving lately, not so much the drones.
And let's see, Gustav. Tell us a little about Little Hawk.
Yes, so my character is named Professor Little Hawk. He's what I think would classify as a merely street samurai, mostly. He's spyware up, to be specific, and he's a specialist in martial arts, Muay Thai and Musta Yuda, which makes him pretty lethal in melee combat. He's, he's a bit special. I haven't got to make him very personalized yet, because a lot of shit happened the first session I used him.
Right, and to note for the players while we do the recap, this is a character that he brought in recently to switch out your old one.
Yeah.
Let's see, and our last player is Jason, who couldn't make it for this session. He is playing Jaden LaFont. So let's get in character. Like I say, you guys have time to go through and really recap your career and maybe figure out something that may have triggered this most recent series of events. So, out of game for the audience, we're going to recap a little bit about what you guys have done thus far. We've been playing for almost 6 months now, and my game is a pretty high current game, so you guys have advanced quickly. So I'll kind of start and jump in if I forget anything or there's anything your character remembers specifically. But we started in the Mojave. The setting, incidentally, is LA. We are in the city of Angels. It's for 4th edition. If people are interested, it's detailed in the Enclave. Really interesting setting with just enough meat on it to give a GM a really good playground to work in. But of course, it's very, very media saturated. So, the team started in Mojave with a contract for the military to do some reconnaissance out in the Mojave at a few points, and they have a couple of different side missions, some salvage stuff. I think there was there was a bounty on tribal insurgents out there, and so the team takes the job. They perform pretty well. The team managed to get back in, get their pay, and the guy that the military had assigned to do Overwatch with you offered to take all the footage, edit it up, and turn it into a short film. At which the characters had some character discussions and decided that they're in LA. It's a good time to become famous. And that became part of the goal of the run from there. So from there, it was a series of random rolled runs, and let me try. If I may not remember these specifically in order. Does anybody remember which one came up immediately afterward? Was that Tail Chaser with Dr. Kitty's?
I think it was
neighbor.
Let me look.
Yeah.
So. Right.
We did. We had the desert fight. Then we did. I don't know if we get the Tail Chaser next, and then after that we did the sub run.
Right. So, the Tail Chaser was just, you guys had Dr. Kitty's neighbor had his entire apartment cleaned out. You guys went around town tracking down what may have happened, and it turned out that your neighbor is just kind of an absent-minded druggie, and forgot that that day was the day that a Jamaican gang was setting up a cannabis growing operation in his apartment. So he called emergency, and then realized it wasn't. But you guys figured it out, managed to get it out with any trouble, and actually made friends with the cannabis growing Rastafarian mage that was in cahoots with your neighbor.
I'm gonna get that guy to grow some shade for me, and then we'll be set.
Oh Oh, fuck's sake.
Then there was the recovery mission of an artifact in an underwater museum. Much of Los Angeles is underwater. It's been hit with 2 tidal waves and a 7+ earthquake that also dropped a lot of city into the ground, as there was an appearance of a magical cave network underneath the city called the Deep Lacuna. So part of the city that just dropped onto the ocean had a museum in it, and that museum had a piece of art in it, historical artifact.
You want to go to the...
And Mr. Johnson hired them to go get it.
You want to put us on the map overlay of that so that they can see what you're talking about?
Ooh, I archived lots of these, but look,
is it archived? Okay. Never mind.
Yeah, I can pull it up. Just give me a moment.
Sure.
And so there was that. That thing happened. Just pull up the archives now. Almost all of my maps are for the first round. Let's see. So you guys ended up getting a submarine out of that run. That was the payment. You went down there, and the museum was chock full of Shadow, which was, you guys managed it.
Thanks to Jason.
Managed to grab a whole bunch of stuff out of there. Right? Yeah, mages are great against Shedham. Yeah, that would have gone bad otherwise. There's a lot of runs that would have gone bad if not for actions by 1 or 2 characters each time.
Yeah.
So after the Shadham, you got the submarine. And then, was there anything that happened before you guys got hired to do the escort mission?
I don't think so.
Me either.
I don't have anything on my calendar. I didn't take the most detailed notes before that, but
right. So so the next thing that happens is, so these videos that the characters have been producing of their SimSense feeds and their runs have been edited, their faces taken out, all this, and put out, to a fairly wide audience. They have started to gather a following. They've actively worked on their public awareness, and at this point in their careers, they managed to catch. To get discovered, to catch a break. I know what happened in between there. Jaden, was tracking down his sister and discovered that she was working for a dragon. And hadn't figured out all the details yet of what had happened, but was doing some legwork and a bunch of things. It was a big part of his character arc. So later, you guys get discovered and are offered the opportunity to escort essentially a rising megacorporate starlet on a movie opening tour. There's a film about Shadowrunners that she made that is, they want it to look authentic, so they're picking up some Shadowrunners for security. Now, what the characters don't know is that at the beginning, is that she had been heavily programmed to be a superstar. Horizon had mentally programmed exactly the star that they wanted into her, and overwhelmed her initial personality with mental programming. So it turns out she and her bodyguard have a thing, and she wants to run away. She hits the triggers to get her deprogramming in, and hires an extraction for herself. So part of the reason the team is in there is the bodyguard is taking a vacation to help arrange all this, and the team is supposed to fail. So let's see. There's a studio incident. several different incidents leading up to a culmination of of taking the starlet out to a party after an opening in LA. They're at the club, and somehow somebody shuts off her triggers, and the characters didn't know about that yet. So someone disguises themselves as Alexei, goes with the team on their boat, and you've got to boat your way to the club. It's in that ruined area of LA. At which point, Alexei herself runs away and goes off to the meet. Well, the team catches it in time, manages to catch back up to her, recapture her, take her to the hospital, get her reprogrammed. Then she go to Bogota, and at this point, I incorporated some war. Bogota was in the war book just about to go to war, and so the characters were there when Aztec technology attacked Amazonia. Or maybe it was the other way around. There's a lot of people dispute either way. But so the characters were not prepared for a war theater. They're set up for some Shadowrun and a little bit of defense work. Right. So after some hairy moments, running through a field of mortar fire, getting stopped by a tank and interrogated. There was, getting out. They had taken the submarine, and when a torpedo got launched down the river at the submarine as he was trying to meet the team, Zeke dug a hole and put up a little earthen bunker and hid the submarine behind it to get the torpedo to detonate. And he made it out. One thing that innocent in character were looking for potential enemies. On that run where you guys recaptured Alexei in the boat, Tony, by the way, has an interesting stack of negative qualities that occasionally means he just loses his shit. And he beat the bejesus out of a wealthy corporate club girl, and it seems her daddy has taken it first. Unfortunately, Daddy works for Horizon in their special media group, which is propaganda and social programming. So at the end of the run, when they get to the extraction point, it turns out there's a signed confession wait for Tony to sign before he can go back to, or before he can get the same extraction with the rest of the team, which he turned down, and had to spend 3 days in the submarine. From there, the team got out, went to Europe, continued the tour. When they got to London, there was another incident. They stopped in at Jason's parents' house for tea, and it turns out that somebody, by that I mean nobody, there's a character named Nobody, it'll get confusing later, had snuck in, pretending to be the neighbor who was knocked out store, put a paralytic poison in the tea, and once everybody was good and stuck, just grabbed the mark and started out. Eventually, by the time they tracked her down, she is flying in a wingsuit well above, or far ahead of them. Zeke's ridiculous driving, as well as some spirit augmentation, lets them close the distance. There's a little scuffle, and on the way out, somebody hacks into the team's communication system and tells them that Horizon is about to try and kill them. At this point, the kidnapper is in the trunk, but it's so hard to find that they don't know. So he essentially gives the team like the rundown of how he got hired and how he's playing Horizon against both of the getting paid on two sides of the run, generally just being a sneaky Shadowrunner about it, and offers to cut them in if they let her go. Which, after discovering the situation that Alexei has some serious reasons, legitimate reasons to go, the team lets her go. Part of the deal from the kidnapper was to be a first story, and they would take a nice vacation. So they get home. What happened immediately after the Hollywood, the Alexei Summers run?
We did another sub run where we went underwater and
for the dragon.
Install data line tap.
Right. So yes. So Jason's character after and kind of during this run has gone, and instead of, he was originally very hostile to the dragon and its business, but he realized that he might be biting off more than he can chew. So instead, he offered to work with the dragon in order to be able to hang out with his sister.
Much better.
So the dragon, you guys for a thing, right? So there's a data tap or a data line at the bottom of the ocean that is near a research facility that you guys got hired to install a data tap. Now that run went really smooth. You set off no sensors, managed to get in and out relatively cleanly. It was not a comfortable ride. No. For the last bit, they had to go down a vertical tube to install. So they were putting nose down using the grapple arms in the submarine to install this piece of hardware that would let them tap the optical line and broadcast some data out. And they did. And as they're getting out, a massive. Actually, a great dragon showed up and wiped out the facility, just ruthlessly within moments. Leviathan the Sea Dragon does not fuck around. Turns out the facility itself was being used to research draconic genetics for potential modification, etc., etc. And dragons are not super fans of that kind of science. So,
no.
So you guys make it back to the port. There's Mordecai. So the first time you use the submarine to do part of your legwork to find the site and get a little intel about what's around it, you went to the local, not so much boss, but one of the more reputable local vault divers, and he gave you some of the intel, and then watched to make sure to see if you guys died, and when you didn't, he went in and swooped what you left behind. He made a pretty penny on that. Coming back from the other ocean run, he was sniffing around your area in the docks, your slip, and quick spirit fear power. There was no confrontation, but that was a thing that happened. And that, it was in the during the Alexei Summers run that Puck joined the group. Yeah. And he started doing your editing. You needed an infiltration guy, so. And all right, so where are we in the timeline? I feel like pretty close to recent events.
Yeah,
I think it's just one more, and isn't it about?
We went on a run for Tony.
Yeah, it's the police. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, no, I didn't forget that one. So the Tony gets asked by the consigliere to go on a very specific collections job. They sent a couple of people that had already failed on this, and there was a bookie that was operating without the Mafia's permission inside Mafia territory, and Tony was supposed to go teach him a lesson. Well, when Tony got there, the bookies was run out of a bowling alley. And when he got there, the place was crawling with cops. There were like 8 dead bodies, I think, inside. Somebody mere hours before had showed up and massacred the entire place. So at this point, nothing of that run went the way I thought it was going to go. And instead of backing off and running away from the cops and a bunch of legwork on the side, the group was like, "Yeah, we'll just send the face and the muscle in, and just see what's up." So they head in, and what the team doesn't know is the killer is still in. He's working on extracting the pay data and covering up the way things went down, or one of the perpetrators, as we later find out. So he's posing as a crime investigation, a forensics agent, and as he's processing the scene, he's also altering the data to make sure that anything from his team is wiped. Well, when a famous other Shadowrunner shows up, he takes the opportunity to go, well, I could just frame him, and even if it doesn't stick, it gives us enough smoke screen to get it out clean, which is what happens. He as part of the investigation of the victims had a server, so they download the cyber's memory, and on the fly, he edits Tony's face in over their team's troll, who actually did murdering with the shotgun. So Tony and his friend are standing in a bowling alley filled with cops with a hologram projection of him killing all these people, or trio projection being cast right there. And then things start to get interesting. Now, this was something I thought might have happened, but what I thought was probably going to happen after that was Tony was at some point going to chub one of his 3 composure tests that he has to make to stay a rational human being, or meta-human being. And that didn't happen. So instead, there's some nice, quiet conversations. Drake, with no evidence to support his claim, manages to convince the cop that he's a cop. And later on, that Tony is an undercover detective. And you guys, long story short, they end up cuffed in the back, or Tony ends up cuffed in the back of a policeman, just answering some questions and waiting for everything to blow over. The forensics guy come in, plants another piece of evidence on him, and then the gunshot residue on his hands, and then flees the scene. Well, once that happens, the team kind of gets tipped off and goes into action. We'll skip ahead a little bit to the team in the van is chasing a magically augmented runner who is carrying all of the bookie's server data out and running down a busy commercial industrial highway. A couple of stun bolts, a couple of second shots, and he ends up as a red mist on the pavement. In the meantime, a few minutes behind them, Drake is commanding the police unit. And the runner was attempting to get back to his team. His team is coming up from the other way. He tries and sends, basically is attempting to grab their payday. Sorry about their friend, but hey, we could still get paid off this. That's not what happens. There's some amazing 3.1 seconds of pure chaos as there's basically a chicken duel between 2 Shadowrunner vans, and someday we'll describe everything that went down in that combat. But it turns out that ramming is treated like melee, and yeah, it's a very long story. So the team comes out pretty much squeaky clean on that. With all that went down, the cops just want to fill out the paperwork, so they're going to pretend the team was never there. And you murdered the entire team, as far as you know. I mean, unless one of them burned a point of edge for a hand of God or something. But so the next thing that happens is the team is hired by a new fixer that new Mr. Johnson that they've never dealt with before. Let's see. It's you end up. It's a package retrieval job. You're just supposed to pick up a package and bring it back to Mr. Johnson. And it sounds like that's because it was. Incidentally, Stragon guest GM'd this game, so I don't feel bad about anything that happened to the runners that day.